Is her attraction becoming sexual? Man, that is a question almost all of us have agonized over at some point, right? It's totally natural to be curious about this stuff. Honestly, navigating these waters can feel exactly like trying to solve a thousand-piece puzzle, except somebody threw away the picture on the box. Every single person expresses desire just a little bit differently, which makes guessing absolutely terrifying. But here's the good news. Psychology actually offers us a remarkably clear lens to decode these dynamics, so we can understand exactly what's happening without all that exhausting second guessing. Okay, the absolute biggest mistake people make when trying to gauge sexual attraction? Zooming in on one single isolated action. We constantly fall victim to this massive psychological trap called confirmation bias. You know how it goes. We take one smile or like one accidental brush of the arm in the hallway, and we instantly assume it means everything. Why? Because that's what we secretly want it to mean. But psychology tells us we really shouldn't try to play mind reader with isolated incidents. Instead, we have got to look for consistent patterns. We're searching for clusters of behaviors that reliably show up together, signaling a genuine interest in taking things to a more intimate level. Keep that framework, consistent patterns, in the back of your mind as we climb the 5 key steps of what we're going to call the intimacy ladder.
All right, step one on our intimacy ladder, initiated touch. So why start here? Well, physical touch is basically what shatters the platonic barrier. It's universally one of the clearest, most undeniable ways human beings start to show sexual attraction. But, and this is a big but, the absolute key word here is deliberate. We're talking about a deliberate, initiated action to cross a physical boundary and establish a totally new baseline of closeness.
Let's actually paint a picture of what this looks like in the real world. Imagine you guys are sitting together at a coffee shop. It's the difference between her keeping her hands firmly in her own lap versus her laughing at your joke and deliberately resting her hand on yours. It's choosing to sit right next to you on a couch when, hey, there's a perfectly good, totally empty armchair right across the room. Or maybe it's that hug at the end of the night that just lingers. Maybe 2 or 3 seconds longer than your standard friendly see you later embrace. This is the natural result of sexual attraction. It's that instinctual drive to physically close the distance between the two of you. But wait, remember our golden rule of context here. The key is never just a single touch. Someone bumping your shoulder in a crowded room? Yeah, that doesn't mean they're secretly in love with you. Actually, let's look at the psychological concept of proxemics, which is just a fancy word for the study of how we use personal space. When someone is genuinely sexually attracted to you, their physical gravity naturally and continuously pulls them right into your space. The real sign to look for is that she is the one initiating the contact, and she's doing it repeatedly and comfortably. Closing that distance doesn't feel forced, it doesn't feel awkward, it feels like a natural, persistent gravitational pull. Okay, so that brings us up the ladder to step 2, seeking privacy. Now we're shifting from physical proximity to an environmental shift. But why is seeking privacy such a necessary step for sexual attraction? Well, think about it. Public spaces come with all these inherent social pressures, unspoken rules, and of course, the perceived judgment of everybody else around you. Private spaces, they immediately lower those inhibitions. They allow for vulnerability by stripping away the noise of the outside world, letting the focus be entirely on the two of you. I mean, we've all heard these classic lines play out, right? Picture a group dinner where everyone is finally starting to head home, and she turns to you and asks, "Hey, want to stay a little longer?" Or maybe a party is winding down, the crowd is thinning out, and she suggests, "Let's just watch a movie at my place." In these moments, she's actually acting like a stage director. She is deliberately removing the crowd, cutting out the distractions, and intentionally crafting this one-on-one environment where deeper intimacy is actually possible. But let's make sure we apply our formula of context here. Wanting privacy just entirely on its own, that does not guarantee she wants sex. I mean, close friends hang out alone in private apartments all the time. But when you take that design for privacy and you add it to the other consistent behavioral signs we've been talking about, like that lingering, initiated physical touch from step 1, well, the dynamic completely shifts. It's that cluster of behaviors all adding up together that points to a growing sexual interest rather than just regular platonic bonding. So, now that the physical distance is closed and the environment is private, the dynamic shifts entirely to how you communicate. And this brings us to step 3, sexual flirting. We are officially moving beyond just sharing physical space and getting into the subtle art of verbal escalation. Now, there is a massive, and I mean highly important difference between friendly, playful flirting and sexually charged flirting. Friendly flirting, that's just light banter. It's fun, it's easy, and it is completely safe. Sexually charged flirting, on the other hand, relies heavily on this psychological concept known as plausible deniability.
Basically, it is a way of actively testing the waters and pushing boundaries to see exactly how you're going to react, all while maintaining this tiny little social safety net, just in case the feeling isn't mutual. You can usually hear this shift in the tone of voice and the specificity of the words being used. It changes from a polite, generic, "Oh, nice shirt," to a very pointed compliment about your physique. The jokes suddenly carry this heavier, teasing undertone. She might start teasing you about kissing or talk openly about the obvious chemistry between the two of you. She might even start asking these direct, probing questions about your dating life or what exactly you find attractive in a partner. Guys, these conversational cues are not random at all. They are deliberate, calculated ways to openly address attraction and partnership.
Which leads us perfectly into step 4, positive reciprocation. Now, this is often the scariest, most anxiety-inducing part of the entire process for people. You've noticed the touch, you guys are in a private space, you hear the verbal flirting, so you finally make a move to escalate the intimacy yourself. What happens next? Well, that pretty much defines everything.
When you get a green light, you are gonna know it, and it's because of a concept called mutual psychological safety. As you become physically closer, she doesn't freeze up, she doesn't get stiff, and she definitely doesn't pull away. Instead, she leans right into the momentum. She maintains strong, unbroken eye contact, she smiles and leans in closer. If things actually progress to kissing, she enjoys it and actively continues the physical affection. The bottom line is people who are interested in becoming more intimate naturally reciprocate. They embrace the closeness rather than avoiding it. At this point, the attraction is undeniably shared.
Okay, so everything we've discussed so far, the lingering touch, the private environments, the heavy banter, all of that requires at least a little bit of interpretation on your part. But step 5? Step 5 completely shatters the need for guesswork. We have officially reached the very top of our intimacy ladder, direct communication. Listen, here is the ultimate truth of our entire explainer today. The absolute strongest sign of attraction is not body language. It is communication. We waste hours, sometimes literal days, agonizing over the exact angle of someone's feet or trying to decode a half-second glance, when clear, unmistakable words are the only thing that truly matters. Direct words remove absolutely all the guesswork from the equation, period. When someone uses direct communication, they are stating undeniable facts about their desires. She might tell you, point blank, "I'm attracted to you." She might say, "I want to spend the night together." Or she might just flat out ask you to come home with her. Why is this the absolute pinnacle of our ladder? Because stating these things out loud requires immense vulnerability and intense confidence from her. It means the attraction is incredibly strong, like so strong that she is totally willing to bypass all the subtle hints and just tell you exactly what she wants. As we start to wrap this up, let's connect all of this back to your everyday life. Look, sexual attraction is not about frantically trying to decode one hidden smile or overanalyzing a fleeting touch. It's about noticing those consistent, escalating patterns we discussed today. Ultimately, the healthiest relationships are built on confidence, respect, and enthusiasm from both people, and that is facilitated through open communication. Healthy relationships just don't rely on exhausting mental gymnastics. When interest is mutual, it should eventually feel clear, not like some constant, unsolvable puzzle. So I really want to leave you with this question to chew on. Are you looking for secret signs, or are you communicating clearly? The next time you find yourself trying to read someone's mind, just remember the psychological framework we covered today. Look for those consistent patterns, beware of confirmation bias, and when in absolute doubt, rely on clear, respectful communication. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep observing, and I will catch you next time.